I certainly want to begin by adding my words of welcome to two most venerable witnesses, and we are deeply blessed to have both Dr. Perry and Dr. Schlesinger, sage national security and foreign policy experts, with us here today with such long and distinguished histories of public service. And joining these two gentlemen, as has been noted on the Commission, are 10 other extremely accomplished individuals, and we are fortunate as both a committee and as a nation to have the service of these great people on what has certainly been a long-standing and repeatedly difficult and complex task. It goes without saying the report before us is thoughtful and it is thorough. And I want to add my words, Mr. Chairman, to yours of appreciation to our Strategic Force Chair, Ms. Tauscher, and the Ranking Member, a gentleman from Ohio, Mr. Turner, for their great work. They asked for recommendations as to the most appropriate strategic posture and the most effective nuclear weapons strategy for the United States, and I think this great commission has really set the stage for delving into those answers. I expected, when this all began, widely divergent views on such matters as nuclear weapons and the policy associated therewith. However, it's, to say the least, unusual, and I would note highly refreshing to learn that this commission, embodied as it is of 12 thoughtful individuals, could achieve bipartisan consensus on these issues. And I said to Dr. Perry before the hearing, perhaps they could give us here in this Congress some lessons on how to come and to work together. And I am most of all hopeful that the administration, working with Congress on both sides of the aisle, can now build upon this bipartisan momentum as it works to define its nuclear policies and posture in the future. The report highlights some basic truths and realities, and first and foremost, it reaffirms the need for the United States to maintain a nuclear deterrent capability to deter potential adversaries, and equally important, to reassure our allies who depend upon our nuclear umbrella and, as a result, forsake developing their own nuclear arsenals. 1 month ago, the President delivered a speech in Prague calling for a world without nuclear weapons. But as the Commission rightfully noted in its interim report, no less than a fundamental transformation of world political order would be required to attain a goal of zero. Well, no president has wanted nuclear weapons. All came to the stark realization that possessing them was necessary as long as others had sought or had them in their possession. In a speech last fall, Secretary Gates observed, "Try as we might and hope as we will, the power of nuclear weapons and their strategic impact is a genie that cannot be put back in the bottle, at least for a very long time." While the President's long-term vision is laudable, I fear its allure may be a distraction from the near-term nuclear security and proliferation challenges faced by our nation and the international community. These challenges are multifaceted and start with how we bring an end to the Iranian and North Korean nuclear programs, two efforts that, at least in my view, pose a real and immediate threat. A month ago, and perhaps coincidentally, on the same day as President Obama's speech, North Korea launched a satellite atop a long-range Taepodong-2 ballistic missile, ignoring all international warnings. According to recent reports, some in the administration expect that nation to conduct yet another nuclear test. In the meantime, Iran continues to perfect its assortment of long-range missiles and pursue key elements of a potential nuclear weapons capability despite UN Security Council efforts. As the report before us observes, unless these programs are halted, and I quote, "there is likely to be a proliferation cascade that would greatly increase the risks of nuclear use and terrorism," end quote. We're also faced with the challenge of securing nuclear materials and facilities worldwide, implementing safeguards into civilian nuclear programs to prevent breakout weapon capabilities, and preventing terrorist groups from acquiring a nuclear bomb, weapons design, or fissile material. Both Russia and China are modernizing their strategic forces program, and as this report points out, ironically, our edge in conventional capabilities and has induced the Russians to increase their reliance on both tactical and strategic nuclear weapons. A credible and reliable U.S. nuclear deterrent will be required for the foreseeable future. However, senior government officials and many outside experts have expressed concern about our stockpile's long-term condition and the confidence that many have in that stockpile and its supporting infrastructure. The commander of U.S. Strategic Command testified this spring, "The most urgent concerns for today's nuclear enterprise lie with our aging stockpile, infrastructure, and human capital." To that end, I believe we need a program to modernize our stockpile and infrastructure. And I want to be clear, I'm not calling for new weapons capabilities. However, I believe there are prudent steps we must take to introduce greater reliability, safety, and security features into our arsenal, and thus create conditions for maintaining a highly reliable deterrent with fewer warheads. Furthermore, we should insist on conscious efforts to strengthen the U.S. nuclear infrastructure, support investments in stockpile stewardship, and sustain our exceptional scientific, engineering, and production workforce. What I find worrisome in this evolving nuclear policy is that they result almost entirely on treaties and arms control measures. The previous administration, wrongly in my view, appeared to have an aversion to arms control. I believe it's a valuable tool, but it must be practical, verifiable, and enforceable. Furthermore, actions taken to decrease our nuclear forces should be counterbalanced by other means to strengthen our security and that of our allies. Missile defenses, advanced conventional capabilities, unconventional capabilities, intelligence, nonproliferation, and other aspects of a comprehensive strategic posture strategy. Lastly, Secretary Gates warned we cannot predict the future. That uncertainty cannot be underestimated as we weigh the nuclear policy and posture decisions ahead of us. The Commission has given us much to consider. I want to thank them again, and I look forward to the testimony. With that, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'll yield back the balance of my time.